What it do, snackers, snackettes, and snack X's? It's your boy Gage. I am here with Sin,
Yes,
and
sir.
you are now tuned in to Loading Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and we talk about the things that are happening in pop culture. And
Today,
today jokes might show up in a little while. He's just running a little behind.
uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So we're
It
just gonna get
happens.
started without him. We got a lot to talk about. Got to talk about Hellblade 2, Senua Saga. Gonna talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Gonna talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. Like there's some things to talk about, right, Sam?
Absolutely. 100%.
However, before we do that, Sin's got to do Joke's job since Jokes isn't here.
Boom. Done.
So he'll get the beacons linked up for you. Feel free to hit that link and go in and then find our other links and then hit the follows and the subscribes and so forth on there.
Yes.
Don't forget to hit the like button if you like what you see. Don't forget to hit the dislike button if you don't like what you see
Please.
or what you hear. I have a tendency to say things people don't like. Happens from time to time.
Just a thing. Yeah, just a little thing.
Some of our most viewed videos are me saying things that many people don't like until they have to hear it. What up, Doctor Who? Sin,
Yes.
you got a job to do.
Yes, so let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Particular Skin, Alex Lee, Ellis Mbe, Kermit Ferguson, and Will Heward. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
It's an absolute fact. Thank you for joining and hanging and commenting. Hello,
Absolutely.
mother. First thing we're gonna do is we're going to discuss Hellblade 2. Heather, what up?
What up, Heather? Missed you last week in Thriller Park.
I guess it's Senua Saga Hellblade 2. I guess it's like reversed. Like normally it's the name and then the like whatever's after the colon. In this case, it seems to be that the name is first. And then so anyway, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 released today. Microsoft Xbox exclusive. I guess it's on PC or something. I don't know. Game Pass. Senu had a chance to play a little bit.
I have.
I've had a chance to play a little bit. We're both still very early.
Yes. Yes.
Sin,
Yeah.
give me your early impressions.
Early impression is same as the last game so far. I don't see
That doesn't help anybody, bro. I don't know. Like I don't know what I mean.
But if you've played the first one, I'm not seeing any differences. Like I'm not catching those so far into it. I knew the audio was going to be outstanding. That's one of the big selling points of the game. So I had the headphones on. You're hearing her talking to herself with the different voices and everything. Like it sounds amazing and great, just like the last one did. Visually, looks great like the last one did. You know, a lot of walking around, nice little rainy, desolate area. Like the water looks good. It looks good. It's right as of right now, it's just the same as last time around. I'm not seeing the difference to what would set them apart. You know what I'm saying? So, but like you said, it's still very early on in it.
I think this is the best looking game ever released.
Oh, it looks amazing.
I don't think there's anything else that comes even close, except for maybe Tekken 8. This game is an absolute showcase for Unreal Engine 5. Now we haven't gotten into gameplay and so forth yet, but as far as what it looks like, it's incredible. Like it is I've been in the photo mode just staring at these joints. Like just staring at these joints,
Right.
bro. It's bananas. Now, the audio. I'm an audiophile. Like I'm a
Mm-hmm.
audio head. Like I it can be very either off-putting or really do a great job of drawing you in when the audio for a presentation is like spot on. And it would be really easy, I think, to find a way to discredit this. You could easily knock points off of this for it not really, for it being like your best experience for this game, like the first one, is to listen to it with headphones on.
Absolutely.
But then why do I have a surround sound system? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like you could very easily say, yeah, like I understand that. And they put an incredible amount of time and effort and work into the binaural audio. That it is like 3D binaural audio that is like you hear voices kind of behind you and on one side of you and then on the opposite side of you, and like
Mm-hmm.
when you're in the water it's like swishing around you, raindrops falling in different areas around. Like it is extremely immersive, and I think it's incredible when you're playing with headphones on. By no means does it sound bad if you're not, but there is a part of me that wishes that they put exactly the same amount of effort into making it sound that way with the 5.1, 7.1, 9.1 setup for the people that do have it.
Mm-hmm.
For the people that don't, I just don't really like playing games with headphones on. Um, I know tons of people do it. It's really normal for people when they're streaming, stuff like that. A lot of the population does it, but I think that there's a high population of people that have surround sound systems or even have like a sound bar or something like that that's designed to like replicate, that kind of 5.1
Yeah.
sound. So it'd be very easy to kind of knock that. But I think as a design choice, as a piece of art that is a game, making a decision to say, this is what we're doing. We're going all the way in, and we are telling you, like, the second or third screen that pops up says, your experience with this game will be way better if you put on headphones.
Yeah.
And I think when you are trying to give somebody an immersive experience in their home, and it's not VR, because in VR you kind of are changing what the
Yeah.
immersion level is. You have to make a call about what is the best way to do it. And I'm gonna be honest, they put their foot in it. Like the audio is just it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous with headphones on. It's still great without it.
Right.
But you want to go into the settings and change it. By default, it's set up. The audio is set for headphones by default, which is not common in games at all anymore.
No,
Normally it's like
not even a little bit. Yeah.
surround sound. Maybe it'll say TV, but this joint straight up says headphones. How I feel about the story and the gameplay and all that remains to be seen. Um, what I will say is that the reviews of this game have been kind of divisive. I've seen 8s, I've seen 7s, nothing super low. I've
Hmm.
seen people say they're disappointed, but still not give it like a super low score. I think some of that has to do with the weight of what this game is to Xbox. So that's the thing I want to talk about now, Sin, is how does this game right now affect Xbox as a brand, as a name? Does it move the needle? Are people gonna buy Xboxes or subscribe to Game Pass for it? Like, where are your thoughts on it?
Unless the reviews come in dumb high, as you just said, they're not. I don't think it's going to move the needle the way they want it to.
Well, they did announce today that they have greenlit a new game by them,
Okay.
by Ninja Theory. You know, a lot of people have been talking about, I don't know what's gonna happen to Ninja Theory. They shut down Tango Gameworks and they had a smaller game that got all this praise, but I guess it didn't sell like they wanted it to, and so therefore they shut them down, which I don't think is the case at all. I just think that's what people are saying. But they're like, what about Ninja Theory? What's gonna happen to them? If I'm Ninja Theory, I'm, you know, scared for my life. I don't know if I'm gonna have a job in a week. We're gonna release this game and they're gonna shut us down. Like, they're just like, people are out there on the internet like making, what
Yeah.
about Double Fine? Double Fine makes small games that don't sell millions and millions of whatever, but their games are great and Microsoft's gonna shut them down. What are they gonna do? Like, shut up, dog, because they bought those studios because they make small games and they knew those studios made small games that sell these kinds of numbers when they made those purchases, and they didn't spend the kind of money on those that they did overall acquiring something like Bethesda. Would you agree, Sin?
Yes, I do agree. Yeah. Uh, I don't think it's going to move the needle much for them. I might get some like awards, when that time comes. I can see it definitely pulling in a lot of awards, but I don't think from like the just general consumer, I don't think it's going to do what they want to do. I don't
What do you think they wanted to do? See,
like.
that's the thing for me is that
I think they want good. I don't think they want high numbers on it. I think that's what they want. They want high numbers to take back and show the shareholders and all that type of stuff, and present it in front of them and say, look at this amazing piece of work what Xbox is doing, all that type of stuff. We're working on this game for so long, and they want to see those high numbers, come back from people playing it, people talking about it, good reviews. I think they want all that from it, but I don't. It's not that type of game. I see so many people like diving into and playing like that, even though the first one was highly critically acclaimed. I just don't see that for Senua.
but it again, that's the thing that's kind of weird about it. It's like it was, but it wasn't. Like, I think what this studio is capable of doing with the tech in front of them, and especially with the additional backing, that money behind them, is why they were purchased. I don't think it was because that first game did like crazy numbers, right? Like, people were very impressed with what it looked like and what it sounded like and with what they were able to do as an indie studio, with, we're going to call it a minuscule budget by comparison, right? They made something that looked AAA and sounded AAA. But my honest opinion is it didn't feel AAA. And when I say that, I mean like the puzzles weren't anything crazy to write home
Mm-hmm.
about. The combat wasn't anything crazy to write home about, but the story was, right? And the look of it was, and the sound of it was. And so it's kind of this art thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this was like the game that was chosen to show off like the Series X for the first time. I think the first time this joint got shown was in like
Like I said,
2017 or
visually,
20.
like you said, visually it's amazing. So I get it. We know the sound is top tier, so I get why you would use it to show it off. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think that Microsoft, and again, I could be wrong, but I don't think they were looking at this going, this is our God of War. Like this, you know what I mean? This
Yeah.
is like,
Yeah.
they're not billing it like some big over the top action story, because it's not. You know what I mean? They're not billing it as a Tomb Raider, even with crazy action and big puzzles and semi-open world. Like, they're not using any of those words to talk about it or describe it, you know what I mean, or whatever. I don't even think they're really throwing it in the same arena as those things. So I don't believe that the expectation is those kind of numbers. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they're not expecting for people to look at it and go, this is video game art at its finest. It's a 10 out of 10. Give us 10s across the board. And I don't think they can do that without the gameplay. Yes, J. Robert Deans, but we talked about that in the beginning. You're late today. Just like this. I think he's coming. I don't know. He's supposed to be coming. He unfortunately didn't get off work until 8:00, so that puts him. You know, we always tell him drive safely. So he gets here when he gets here. I'm sure he'll pop up at some point at closer to 9, probably. I mean, here's the thing. We could slot Tatiana into his place. We've talked about it. We might have even tried. She's not having it.
That's one.
She's not having it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if she was down, it had already been done. Am I wrong, Sin?
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, see? And I don't mean that like we would have just swapped them and replaced him with her, but like anytime he couldn't be here or he was running late, would you be like, yeah, just let her jump in. He's tried. We shot a snack bite not that long ago. No kid would. Look, we shot a snack bite at Piglet.
Rifle time wagers.
Nah, I mean, listen, if you would like to make some friendly wagers about Jokes' arrival time amongst yourselves, but post them. We need to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Along with what you're waging. Yeah, he kind of like pushed Tatiana into the camera while he shot something with her, and she just kind of stood there. Like, it's adorable. But yeah, it's not happening. Although I was literally getting ready to say I could probably get Zaina to do it.
Oh, she'll hop on quick.
Yeah, but like I've been trying to get her to come on and do Zaina's K-pop corner for like 2 months now.
Oh, she's still faking.
She's kind of like, I'm not ready yet. I'm like, well, get ready. You know what to say.
Jay Roberts is now on 3 with a bag of Popeyes.
A bag of Popeye sound.
Not a box. Like just a bag.
There's no box, no nothing. It just makes it sound like a bag of Sailormen. You know what? Don't do that, Zaina. Yeah, look, I don't know that this joint is going to do any more than the expectation. I don't think it's going to make the numbers jump the way they wanted to, but I think that's why in like 2 weeks they'll be talking about how Call of Duty's coming to Game Pass, and that'll be the thing that they really, and then they'll be able to afford to just let stuff like this happen. That's what I think. But I am excited to keep pushing through it and just kind of see where the story goes and come back and kind of report on that when I get there. I just gotta hit my bad, y'all. I mean, don't worry about it, Zane. That's cool. Okay. She rich. It's 8:58. It's 8:50. Yeah, 8 minutes. We got a 9:03 and an 8:58.
All right.
Let's see. We'll see how that turns out. I didn't see Heather make an actual, you know what I'm saying, wager.
Got one from mom right there.
Okay. 9 p.m. for $0. I mean, all right. I'm with that. He's probably listening. Heather says 9:15. Man,
wow,
he don't work that far away. He shouldn't, but it's hashtag time. All right, look, Candace, you go ahead and use that hashtag all you want, but you put up your times and your dollars or something to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just start throwing around that justice for jokes. Sin.
Yeah.
Oh, Brandon wants to know, what are you pushing through To the end. Sorry, I missed it. To the end of through pushing through Senua Saga, Hellblade 2 to see how it turns out.
Right.
Visually stunning, audibly stunning. We'll
Agreed.
see how the gameplay and the story turns out.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do. Deadpool tickets went on sale, Sin.
Yep.
Did you get yours?
No, I haven't got mine yet. We need to talk. I didn't know whether we're gonna try to do this one like as a group to go together or just buy a ticket to go see it. So
I bought 5 tickets, but I you know what I'm saying. But like,
gotcha. Okay. I'll be buying my tickets once we get out and shut everything down. I'll just go order my tickets.
It's time, bro. I had to,
Matter of fact, I might just
I
do it
didn't
right now.
nothing too crazy over the top. I just bought regular tickets for a regular show, like 3 p.m. on release day, which is July 25th. It's fast approaching.
Yeah. I know. Let me get this.
Here's what I want to know.
What?
Have your expectations for Deadpool and Wolverine changed at all since completing X-Men 97?
No.
No.
Kind of beforehand. Yes, we were excited to see where it's gonna go, but I'm not trying to get too excited. You know what I mean? Like, because just to go in and be disappointed. Like, I'm excited to see how they fix and add the Fox universe and all that type of stuff, and I'm probably a little bit more excited just to see if they do add 97 into it somehow and how they do it. You know what I'm saying? So
it has changed some.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit. Like, see, I didn't even go get my tickets. Like, I guess I didn't do that right now.
I mean, I'm just saying. Sam dressing up as Wolverine. I pay to see that to the midnight release. I mean, here's the thing. Unfortunately, B, we so past midnight releases. They don't really do them anymore.
What was the last time you ever said we did a midnight release?
Yeah, bro, there probably hasn't really been a midnight release in like a decade.
But since Endgame, that was it.
Nah,
they did the whole like 72-hour all weekend was running it.
Yeah,
we went to see it the second time at 2 a.m.
Correct. But my first showing was at like 10 something or something like that.
Yeah.
Kayla says, have a great show. Love seeing y'all and catching up on Sunday. Love always. Same to you, Kayla. Reach out if you need something. You got my number. I'm gonna tell you something, Sin.
Mm-hmm.
My expectations for Deadpool and Wolverine may have changed because there's a possibility I'm likely to be more disappointed by it now because X-Men 97 was so good.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to get into spoilers for X-Men 97 at all. If you all would like spoilers, go watch
Spoiler Boys is for.
Go watch our Spoiler Boys for X-Men 97. We have our good friend Adam Butler, who's on there with us for most episodes, and Jerry Gaylord, who's one of the storyboard artists on X-Men 97. Discussing with us, especially that last episode. I don't know if I believe this. There are a lot of people who are saying X-Men 97 is the best thing the MCU has done, and I'm still not quite sold on X-Men 97 truly being MCU like proper. Sana says that was actually so iconic seeing it at 2 a.m. My face was swollen from tears for like a week. Exactly, because you cried at 2 showings.
You had a double dose.
Yeah. Brandon said agree. 97 was so amazing. I hope they link it somehow. Look, I think they will, right? I don't want to get into spoilers. I think that because the Wolverine focus is kind of heavy here in Deadpool, and Wolverine is so not a focus of X-Men 97, I do think that there's a possibility that they are going to utilize the fact that it exists in some multiversal way. I don't know that they'll specifically call it out. I am expecting an Easter egg or two of some sort that lean into it more than like a few notes from the theme song of the show,
Okay.
if you will. So it's weird. Like in some ways, I think my expectations for Deadpool and Wolverine maybe have come down a little bit, but my anticipation for it has gone up.
Okay.
Like I'm more excited about just seeing what they do, which is a thing that like hasn't really happened for me for things that are technically MCU for a couple of years. Right? Like it used to just be like when something ends, you're just in that mode of like, oh my goodness, such and such is also about to come out. Can't wait to see what they do with this. They could be doing this, this, and this, whatever. And so like the gears are turning about what they could really do with Deadpool and Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't really speak to it without spoiling X-Men 97 for people who haven't seen it. What I can do is highly recommend that
Welcome, buddy.
so close.
Yep.
857. So close.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you, buddy. We can't hear you.
Did I disappoint some folks?
Well, you might be too early for everybody.
Yeah.
Just barely though. Like somebody had you at 9:58. So you squeaked in. Well done. We were talking about jokes. I don't even. Did you watch X-Men 97?
I sure did.
Because you skipped every episode of Spoiler Boys, and so I
Hey, listen,
we haven't talked about it at all, and so I just, I had to double check.
And I had them late night bops, so
I get it. What I was asking Sin about was whether or not his expectations for Deadpool and Wolverine have changed at all since X-Men 97, since seeing X-Men 97, and now that that's over, have the expectations changed? Now, let me just say, before you give your...
not Popeyes. Chick-fil-A.
You know the game, boy. You know what it is.
Still chicken.
It's Tuesday, bro. There you go, Candace. Justice for Joe. Yeah. Before you answer that question, I need to say that we have already declared that we are not doing any spoilers for X-Men 97, and I know that you're
gotta let jokes know that.
Are we not over this now?
Hold on. Because you get ready to go into defense. I just you get ready to go into defense, bro. And I don't want you to play defense yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you the ball back so you can shoot some offense. I'm just saying, I don't want you to spoil anything.
Understood.
Okay. So have your expectations for Deadpool and Wolverine changed at all since viewing X-Men 97 and seeing it come to a close?
No,
not at all.
I'm still, listen, I was already sold once Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool. I was already 100% in for it. The two of them in their relationship with each other, like seeing it in real life, it's going to play out on screen. I am perfectly fine. X-Men, whether good or bad, I was already set for Deadpool and Wolverine.
Is Deadpool and Wolverine going to try to make you cry? Because I think it is.
I feel like it is. And then in Deadpool says it'll end up pulling it back somehow.
Sure.
But obviously, multiverse, everything in here could easily change. But I definitely think they will go for that angle.
Okay, Dizzle.
At least as of now, if this truly is the, like, say, we know how the 3 movies go. Like, technically, we think this could be the last of the Deadpool movies, but who knows? But I think they will go for that angle, though.
Okay. While I'm thinking about it, since K Dizzle just jumped into the chat, man, I just want to take a moment to congratulate K Dizzle and the squad on 100 episodes of the All Dressed Up podcast, which just passed this past Sunday. So,
Awesome.
you know what I mean? Shout out, show some love. That's a major milestone.
Definitely.
Get to 100 episodes. So, congratulations on that. Yeah. I think my expectations have changed some, but again, mostly now I'm anticipating it more. While I think my expectations for like how good it's going to be have come down slightly just because X-Men 97 is so good. And like, I'm still trying to pull myself out of the mindset. One of the things we did talk about on the final episode of the Spoiler Boys for X-Men 97 was how, for me, this still feels MCU adjacent. Like, it doesn't feel like it's part of the MCU yet. And I'm very interested to see what they do, if anything, to pull it in and make it feel like it belongs as part of the canon, even from a multiversal standpoint. And I think if there's a place and time for them to do it, it's in this movie. So we'll see what happens. Did you get your tickets yet?
Yes.
Listen, you know what I'm saying?
I corrected that. I got mine.
My man.
He said I corrected that. Now, listen,
I didn't have it 5 minutes ago. Yeah,
Listen,
I didn't have 5 minutes. I got it now.
I needed the fan early screening, and then if somehow we can get earlier access to see the movie if that ends up being a thing at the same time. But early fan screening.
I dig it. I just don't care enough about that keychain they're giving out to travel for it, because the time frame is exactly the same.
But it doesn't seem like they're giving that away at the. I saw Fandango has like a contest where they're giving it away, but I haven't seen any of the theaters actually say that they're going to give it during the fan events, though.
It does on AMC's.
Ooh, I didn't see that. Good thing I got the AMC ones. Hey.
Yeah, it does on AMC at the Dolby joint in Columbia.
Well, I guess I'm getting
but the time frame is the same. The 3 o'clock, it's the same time as the show.
Mm-hmm.
I just I'm not driving to Columbia to go see that joint.
Nah, go to
I'm not, because I can go across the street and see it at the same time.
Yeah, so but across the street don't have that Dolby Atmos though.
They don't have that keychain, and I don't care about that. And I will tell you what, they have to earn my Dolby Atmos money. I'm what they got was my matinee money. How many tickets did you buy, Jokes?
Couple.
Right. How many did I buy, Sam?
5.
Like 6?
5. Close. Like, yeah, don't. You know what I mean? Like, you probably spent the same thing I did. Go see the joint, and you're gonna spend the gas to go see it. So that's cool. Go do you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not mad at that. Get your keychain. Make sure you take pictures and make some content. That's what I need. You know what I mean? But like, nope. Nah, buddy. I'm gonna be across the street looking for a popcorn bucket. That's gonna be my thing. That popcorn bucket, whatever it is. Whatever.
Gotcha.
Did you see that IGN bought like 6 other news outlets?
No.
I saw that, and then in the same article, it was like layoffs pending, and I was just like, "Oh God."
Well, that probably happened because you didn't read IGN's own article about them acquiring all the joints. But I am gonna read. I don't usually do this, but I am gonna read some of this. So they bought the Gamer Network sites. It included Eurogamer, GamesIndustry.biz, Rock Paper Shotgun, and some more. So, IGN, and this is from GameSpot. IGN Entertainment has purchased Gamer Network's digital brands, which include Eurogamer, GamesIndustry.biz, Rock Paper Shotgun, VG24, and Dicebreaker. As a result of the acquisition, layoffs for some of the affected sites have already begun. Brendan Sinclair, the popular managing editor of GameIndustry.biz, was among the employees who were let go. First of all, I want to say Brendan Sinclair did incredible work. I would go to GamesIndustry.biz a lot to get a lot of the information for stuff that we would talk about here. The news was shared with a number of sites, including the now IGN-owned GamesIndustry.biz. Gamer Network was founded by Rupert and Nick Lohman in '99, alongside the launch of Eurogamer. Gamer Network expanded to include the previously mentioned site and also owns a portion of Outside Xbox, Digital Foundry, as well as Hookshot, which includes Nintendo Life, Push Square, Pure Xbox, and Time Extension under its sites. So the Gamer Network was originally sold to ReedPop back in 2018. And then the company signaled its intent to sell the Gamer Network's assets late last year. So ReedPop had been behind the planned relaunch of E3 in 2023, partnering with the ESA to produce the show. However, it was subsequently canceled, and E3 was killed off for good the following year. So it's very interesting because IGN as a company has, like all those other outlets, been one of the places that has talked so much, so often about the consolidation of the video game landscape, the business. Xbox is buying everything and PlayStation is buying everything, and like, we can't allow that to happen. And then they just went in and swooped up a bunch
bought
of joints.
everything up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be real interesting to see what that really means. Because like when IGN bought game trailers, a lot of people were concerned that it was just gonna go away, and basically what they did was they kept it. It's just that they run their trailers on both now. So like when a like new trailer goes live on IGN, it also goes live on game trailers, and that's about it. Like they don't really do much else with it. But I'm not sure what it means. Like Eurogamer did some really cool content and has some people there that I followed their careers for a long time. A couple of who recently left. So I don't know if people kind of had an idea that this was maybe coming. But I do feel like the writing was probably on the wall a little bit because they knew what was going on with ReedPop. And then whatever they probably lost monetarily in the fact that they were the ones who were also supposed to be doing E3. And then that got canceled. I just kind of feel like maybe the writing was on the wall that, you know, they were trying to sell and that people were just kind of unsure of, you know, what that meant. What do you think, Sin?
I think it's interesting. I do think going forward, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Euronet and all the type of Eurogamer and all the type of stuff they have. And it might be interesting to see their response to, like you said, people saying, like, you guys always talk about everybody's buying up all these things and now you're doing it. So it'd be interesting to hear the back and forth come from that if people decide to start tweeting at them and all that type of stuff and see what their response is. But depending on how it's handled, it can go either way. Like you said, like what they did with game trailers, it just depends on how they decide to take over and handle these properties and see what they do with them. It could be good. It could be absolutely horrible. It's just what they decide to do with it.
Part of the issue is, you know, IGN just laid off a bunch of people who were very well known and had been with the company for a very long time. And they had openings within the company. So like rather than move those people, they laid those people off, and they did it right after a negotiation had been done for them to have a union. And so then there was a lot of pushback about them like finding a way to do it kind of outside of the realms of what the union was, and really people pushing for, you know, for that kind of stuff. And so again, it's interesting to see that IGN as a company has now acquired all these other places and are starting to lay other people off, because clearly you're going to have some redundancies. But you also just got rid of some people while you had openings without like offering them other positions or giving them new positions. You know, have all these people who worked really hard to get a union in place. You know, for you know, people who work in games journalism and so forth. And as a company maybe seems to be a bit against that. And it makes me wonder, because I do believe that union was like specific to IGN. So it makes me wonder whether or not they are going to just start pulling from other people who maybe aren't a part of said union, or what it means for people who are under those other banners to be able to join that union now that they are, I guess, technically under the IGN banner. You have any thoughts, jokes?
It's like obviously when you try to acquire like companies like these, whether obviously you're if you were doing something they're doing that you're not doing, but obviously most of them are doing exactly what IGN is doing. So when you try to absorb them, it's just hard to say with them what it is potentially the gain is. Because other than, okay, maybe you do have some people that are tuning into that stuff and not necessarily IGN, I can't imagine that number warrants you wanting to acquire all of these other places for it.
Yeah, but it could warrant you wanting to remove any competition that
Competition,
exists.
true. Not necessarily. I don't want to say major. I don't think major is the right word to use, but like when I think of IGN, GameSpot, I would think would be their closest direct competitor than anything else. Um, but after you've laid off so many people, and then like now, like you said, they're bringing this batch underneath, and depending on incorporating into the union, if these are going to be somehow, they're still going to operate under their same ways, but obviously, like you said, redundant positions that'll potentially be eliminated. It's just an interesting, weird acquisition. So I feel like until they like shed some light on the reasoning really why, hey, if you'd have said that, hey, there's some good people over there that we want to bring over into the fold, it's kind of like it's kind of disingenuous. Like you probably just laid off a good amount of people to bring in another batch of good people. So it's just a little weird.
It's tricky anytime it there's anything like that happens within outlets that are news outlets, because then they have a lot of control over the narrative.
Hmm.
K Dizzle DC says acquisitions of competitors merely influences price fixing, squeezes small companies out of the market, and reduces the ability for all opinions slash narratives to be heard.
Literally,
Again,
yeah.
like I was saying, right? Your ability to control the narrative, and therefore, like a lot of it is probably based on the need to be able to have more control over pricing, or like you said, price fixing when it
Hmm.
comes to advertising,
Hmm.
right? So I know IGN makes a lot of money in ads and advertising because they have so many eyes on their content, whether
Hmm.
that's on YouTube or it's on Spotify or any number of those places, let alone the direct website itself. Um, so those kinds of things are certainly going to have an effect on it, and probably a good portion of it has to do with that, right? And then being able to have control over sites that are outside of the country. They have IGNs, in other places. J. Robert Dean says, "Need to run, fellas. It was food seeing you this weekend. We'll take a
Okay,
good this weekend."
sure.
Although engaging saying, "Jokes, you disappointed us, especially the kid. Do better. Do better, Jokes.
And
Call
listen,
out of your job," is what he said.
I mean, food's a good thing though.
we did have
Apparently,
snacks.
apparently, we did have snacks. Thank you, J. Robert Dean, for tuning in. It was very good to see you as well. And the family.
Yes,
Please give them our
yes.
love. Kidlet, if you're still there. Um, Now it's time to talk about Assassin's Creed. So last week, Ubisoft announced the official name for Assassin's Creed Red, which is Assassin's Creed Shadow. They released like a 3 or 4 minute trailer. We're not
Mhm.
gonna watch that here. But I do recommend going and checking it out. And he just says, "Oh Lord."
Lord.
Um, and then they released like a 13-minute developer, like basically they did like a direct about the trailer
Hmm.
with the developers, and then it was also like IGN had an exclusive something or other that had additional information about the title. There is a lot of there are a lot of people on the internet being people on the
Being
internet
people on the internet.
Yep.
about this game. And they just said they treated this like it was blackface. Kind of. Look.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: people are upset. What this game is? This game has two protagonists.
Mm-hmm.
They are Naue and Yasuke. And before we get into the internet having a breakdown, I want to say what I think is really dope about this. There's a couple of things. So, the last time Assassin's Creed gave us dual antagonists, they were a set of twins, a brother and a sister. It was an Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that game. It's probably the last, I think it is the last Assassin's Creed game that was actually an Assassin's Creed game.
Valid.
Everything since then, Origins, this Viking stuff, like all of that has been very different kind of open world, go and get it in fake RPG and whatever. It didn't really feel like Assassin's Creed. Even if they were decent games, they weren't really Assassin's Creed. However, those two characters basically played the exact same. It was more or less like just a swap. You were just basically doing a gender swap. If you wanted to play with one versus the other, they played exactly the same, had the same abilities. It didn't really matter, what you did. If I recall, there may have been some slight story changes based on which one you were using when you did a certain thing, like, cross certain points in the game. But other than that, it's basically the same thing. In this case, these two characters play completely differently. Where Naue is your stealth character, and Yasuke is your heavy hitter. And though you are able to do some kind of stealth stuff with Yasuke, it's not really what his forte is. He is bigger, slower, heavy hitting. Where Naue is slimmer, smaller, stealthier, shadows. And one, I love that aspect of it. I like the idea of being able to choose one or the other and having it inform your actual play style based on whom you're using. They actually talk about and show in the trailer. The trailer looks like it's all just CG, but they do talk about it in the trailer, like Yasuke can actually like break doors, like as he's fighting or going, like he's just a heavy hitting whatever. They also have added in like a light and shadow system. They basically pulled the light and dark system from Splinter Cell and put it into this, where like there's a meter that tells you how much light you're in versus how much you're in the dark, how well you can be seen versus not be seen.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds real dope. Yeah, Rich. Rich says
and
that's
also
dope.
with that, also with the stealth engage, they talked about how the weather system in it, like it's going to change each season. So bushes that may have been there that you've been hiding in will be gone like when fall and winter come there. Yeah. So you got to figure out other ways to do stuff. Yeah.
That's like, again,
like that.
That's what I want in an Assassin's Creed game. And like, look, people have been begging for Assassin's Creed to be in feudal Japan, basically from the first one, maybe the second one, but basically from the first one. They just said yesterday was a power forward in the world of business. Ain't no stealth there. You pretty much right. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty much what it is. Now, the internet is on fire because there's a couple of things. They have issues with this very black African man being a samurai in the game. Clearly, there are a large number of people who don't know that this is a true historical figure that really did exist. And Assassin's Creed has always prided itself on really working within the history from the time frame that it's set. Obviously, they take liberties.
Yeah.
So here's what you have. Exactly.
Yeah.
You do have a lot of cis white males who are saying this is ridiculous. You can't put a Negroid in Japan as a samurai. Ubisoft is so woke. Stop being, you know what I mean? And they're stupid and whatever. All right, look, we've already covered this.
One Google search, Yasuke.
That's it.
Just one
Just
Google search.
just one. You got it. Your answer's right
Yeah, but
there.
like,
You know
why
what?
would you
Yahoo
do
search,
a
Bing
search?
search, any of them.
Why would you do a search to find out what you already know?
I think a lot of them didn't know that.
No, he
I know
legitimate.
they didn't know. That's my point, Sam. That's
Mm.
my point. Why would you go and do a Google search for something you didn't know that you already know, that you have decided you already know? I mean, Shogun. Hello. I mean, again, they're not watching Shogun. Now, I do want to say that on the other side of this, um, and let's say, why do some people act like Africans never left the continent ever? Um, Heather, the reason for that is because, as far as they believe, we could not and were not able to. We were not smart enough. The
Yeah.
only way
Well,
Africans left
capable
the
enough.
continent was when they took them from the continent.
Which Yasuke was, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Here is the other part of this. There are a lot of Asian people who are saying that this is a robbed opportunity for them to have representation for themselves.
Hmm.
That this should be an Asian man, right? That there is an Asian woman, but like, if you're gonna do it and you're gonna do it in feudal Japan, you have taken away an opportunity for them to have a male lead who is an Asian male lead in this situation, right? Which I can kind of hear that. That kind of makes sense to me. Saying you kind of like, yeah, I mean, maybe.
Not necessarily to me. Like it all depends on how the story goes and all that kind of stuff. Once you finally get your hands on and get into it, but there will be Japanese people everywhere in the game. The other protagonists are Japanese. They're in Japan. There'll be characters in it that are all a part of the story. It's going to be full of. There's one black man probably in this game. Everyone else,
I mean,
But listen,
most likely is going to be.
but he the main guy. So you know what? The
No,
issue,
he's one other main character. There's two main characters.
it don't matter. It does not
saying.
matter.
Just say I hear it. Just like not a big deal. Like I said, you see how the story goes, how it's written, how everything's laid out and portrayed. Like, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I would say it's not a big deal. I could understand that if you are an Asian person and you are not out of the realm of where we have been as black males, as black people, wanting to see ourselves on screen and wanting to see ourselves in leading roles and so forth, I can see how you would hear, oh snap, Ubisoft is finally doing an Assassin's Creed. They're finally doing one in Japan. And you might have that excitement kind of built up in your system because you're thinking, yo, that's going to be crazy if Ubisoft does an Assassin's Creed and they actually do an Asian man or woman. Like, and again, I don't even think this is a thing if they don't do two protagonists
Mm-hmm.
and it's a single protagonist and it's this Japanese woman, right? But I do want to say that there was an article that was on IGN, no doubt, by a gentleman named Matt Kim, who is a Korean American man. And the title of this is, "Let's Not Pretend We're Mad the New Assassin's Creed Shadow Samurai Isn't Asian." That's the title. And in the article, he goes on to say, he talks about the whole thing with Yasuke being an actual historical figure, that it makes sense for what it is, that hearing other Asian people complain or to say like, hey, an opportunity was maybe taken from them or something like that is a problem. And for him, he's like, yeah, but like not really, because Western games and game developers have always only, it's not like there aren't plenty of male leads that are Asian within video games. However, they are almost always a samurai, a ninja,
Mm-hmm.
some kung fu fighter. Look at any fighting game, look at whatever, and he goes down this list and just kind of naming all this stuff. And he's like, it would be totally cool if they were doing an Assassin's Creed that took place somewhere else and it had an Asian lead, and it wasn't in Asia, it wasn't in Japan, it was, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, we are everywhere, we exist everywhere. In the same way that this is a black man who exists in Japan, he's like, that's kind of cool, right? But
Mm-hmm.
that, like, if it was some other story, if it, like, why can't an Asian man be the lead of one of their Far Cry games or something like this? Why does it have to be that if they're doing a game in Japan, like, it would be so cliche for us to get that if that's what it was. Forget the depth of the character and all of that, because there is some of that. But, like, if you look at Ghost of Tsushima or any Samurai Warrior game or, you know, whatever, like, it's like, that's like all we really have. And he was like, there are some really good stuff. There's some really well done depth, you know, characters that have depth in, like, the Yakuza games and some of that. But he was like, that's usually only done when Japanese developers do it. But Western developers, you know, and he's like, don't get me wrong, ninjas and samurai are cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so to have us represented as something that's cool is cool, but that there is more to us than that, right? And that I could really get behind,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, the idea of, because it's the same thing as how for us, for a long, like, if, you know, they did an Assassin's Creed in Egypt,
Mm-hmm.
and even that has a lot of pushback. Like, Fantastic Frankie did a whole thing about how, you know, why not just do a game in Africa and have a, you know, an African lead, you know, or whatever? Why do a Japanese one and have an African lead or whatever? And people are like, they did a joint in Africa. They did Assassin's Creed Origins. It's in
Oh
Egypt.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
She's like, that doesn't count. People are like, what are you talking about? Egypt's in Africa. And they're like, but then it's like all the Greeks in there, and like, there's all this back and forth even about that. And then people are like, well, there was Adewale, you know what I mean, or whatever. And like, even though it was started as DLC, like, he was a side character, then he got his own DLC.
Mm-hmm.
It also was the first DLC that you could buy separately. Like, you didn't have to own Black Flag in order to play that game. And then they had, I can't think of her name. She had her own joint, but the original game was on PSP at first, right? And then eventually it came over to, like, I
They
can't
put it
think
over,
of it.
like, you can get off the network, PlayStation Network and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they're like, she was black and female and was a lead of her own game. You know what I'm saying? So, like, and they do talk about it. Like, a lot of people didn't play it because it was an exclusive to the PSP originally, and then eventually it came over, I think, to play. I think it was on PlayStation Network. I know it was on Xbox Live.
Mm-hmm.
And this is back 360 days.
Yeah.
This is like 15 years ago. More than that. You know, here's the thing, man. This kind of stuff is always, it seems like, there's always going to be pushback.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And because it isn't normal yet. It hasn't been normalized yet, right? Until it gets normalized, it's this is what it's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like, even from the place of like, oh, he's a historical figure, I'm super interested to see what, you know, Assassin's Creed, they haven't done a great job of this really recently, but like, it's always about present day and having people that can go back into the minds of like their ancestors and stuff like that. I'm very interested to see how they play that.
Same.
Right? Whose ancestors is this? Who's actually in the animus in present day or whatever, going back in time and doing these roles, right? Like, I think they could mess that up like real bad. Totally possible. But either way, I'm excited about it. I think to an extent I might have been a little bit disappointed at first when I saw Yasuke, to be honest. Until I heard that they play differently and that you were going to be able to control them both. And I was like, all right, I'm with it. You know what I mean? And again, Yasuke's had his own series. There's a lot about Yasuke that's out there. But again, you have to go looking for that information. And
True.
even if you go out there and you see, like, you go watch the whole show on Netflix or whatever and never know that it's based on actual historical facts.
Yeah, don't do that to yourself.
Like, that doesn't tell you, you know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna know that for a fact, so to speak. So what um this is doing its job, which is informing people that things like this actually did happen in history.
Mm-hmm.
People talking about this and being angry about it, and then being checked in the comments by people going, nah, this is
This
actually
is
a
an actual
truly
thing.
historic, this is a real thing. It would have been, I'll be honest with you, it would have been very easy for them making this game to put Yasuke in the same position they did like Leonardo da Vinci, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you have a completely different character and he's a true historical figure, but you just go to him to, they could have
Do
made him
certain
like, oh,
things.
you go
A
to him to get
support.
weapons,
Just
or
a
you go
straight
to him to get,
support
yeah,
character.
exactly.
Yeah.
It would have been very easy for them to do that and be like, yeah, historically, and then they could have just told you the story of Yasuke and just
Mhm.
been like, yep, he was there, and you're playing as some other soldier that fought beside him, or you know what I'm saying, whatever. They really could have very easily done that and still given you a historical background on it, the same way they did Benjamin Franklin, and the
Mm-hmm.
same, you know what I mean, any of those other
Mhm.
characters that were people that you actually have heard of, people you do know existed historically. They could have very easily done that with Yasuke. I think it's a really big deal and an important step that they chose to give you the option to play as the character. And the truth of the matter is, I'm pretty sure that even though it might make it easier or whatever in some cases, if you don't have to, I haven't seen where they've said like you can choose which one no matter what mission you're
Right.
doing. It could be that they force your hand in some cases or whatever. You
I'm
might have to be like,
I'm willing
okay.
to bet that there are missions that are just for him and missions that are just for
Specifically
her.
for each
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
maybe not like a whole bunch, but maybe like
It seems to me, I think that there
around
might be some of
10%.
that, but
Yeah,
it seems to me that just based on what I've listened to, it seems to me that they are leaning more into you can choose which one you want. Like if you want to approach this mission from a stealthy manner,
Mm-hmm.
take
pick
her.
Nawe, and if you want to go a more,
Be
you
loud and
know,
proud.
go Yasuke.
Yeah,
You know
go
what I
Yasuke.
mean?
Yeah,
And there are honestly times in Assassin's Creed where I feel like doing one over the other.
Definitely.
yeah. Or we have those moments where I'm gonna try to go in stealth, but if I get seen, it's just popping after that. Like what I'm saying,
Like straight up.
not
Yeah,
Look,
but like you might but you might not really be able to do that with her.
in this one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
You know
this
what
would
I
be a
mean?
good one to set up for like a distraction for like say Yasuke get out there, causes distraction because he wrecking people while she's sneaking in wherever to get that assassination wherever it needs to be at. So
Yeah.
I feel
But
like
it's
they
not
could.
two players though. Like I don't
No,
know
no,
that you're
I
gonna be
know
able
it's
to
But maybe
like.
you
not
can switch them off
necessarily
the fly.
right. Like say while you're
Right.
in the mission,
Yeah.
you start that distraction, control switch. Now you got to go to stealthy
You got
route.
her. You get it. You start off the stealthy route. You get her in position. Now let me switch over to Yasuke to start the distraction, and then
Or
switch
do
back to her
something.
to go
Yeah.
ahead and assassinate
Mhm.
whoever I got to assassinate. Yeah.
I'll be honest, like this just having this trailer right now has me excited for
Mhm.
not E3. Like because it doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
I guess Summer Games Fest, you know what
Summer
I'm saying,
Games
or whatever in
Fest.
a couple weeks. It does make me wonder whether or not like we'll see some, like we know that Xbox has a showcase for like the 10th, I think it is, of June. So it does make me very interested in seeing what direction they're gonna go with that and what they're doing as far as that's concerned, to see if maybe it shows up at one of the,
Mm-hmm.
one of those places.
Ubisoft didn't announce they're doing anything around that time yet. Like they're
Not
I
as of
Ubisoft.
think
yet.
they
I
might be
haven't
doing a Ubisoft Forward,
Yeah.
but
I haven't heard anything, but
I think
that's
they did
definitely
announce it, but we'll see. You know what I mean? What happens with
Yeah.
it? I do believe like last week they announced they're doing something,
okay.
so we'll again we'll see. I think it's gonna be cool though. I'll be honest, they got my money.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I'm about.
Japan's been the one I've been waiting for. They got they.
Yeah,
I'm all in. Yeah.
I
I'm all
enjoyed
in.
Mirage. It's been a while since I would say like Origins is like,
Cool.
but Mirage I enjoyed. So with hearing like some of the things that they're implementing with this one, I'm really obviously the story itself. I'm already intrigued to see what it is that they do with it. But like you are, I like the going back to the current day, seeing what is it that we're trying to go back and figure out to bring. Like I want to see that still continue in this game. Um, because like that's I mean that's kind of how Mirage ended. I didn't get to play the DLC, so I don't know where necessarily the extraness went to
You
in
know
there
what?
for it.
For me personally, I'm personally over that animus going in and out of walking around. Like, I leave me in the animus to go play with these characters and go explore and find stuff. I hate being taken out of it to come and do story time and walk around and just talk to people.
I wouldn't
Just
mind
me
doing it
personally.
if they made it, if they actually made those parts of it fun. Like you know, like they did that a little bit with Desmond, where you got to like
Hmm.
run around, and I was like, yo, it might be cool if they did. Like I
Yeah,
kind of thought like they were gonna do that with Watch Dogs. Like I thought Watch
Hmm.
Dogs was gonna be like, oh, you know, and they did kind of cross them over, but
yeah, yeah.
um, you know, I think part of what I'm excited about it is, you know, one of the things about Assassin's Creed has always been the verticality, climbing, you know, getting to the highest points or whatever, and seeing the map and whatever. And like
Hmm.
when you get to a lot of these landscapes, I think part of the problem that they've had in the past has been these places just don't have buildings that are high enough that it makes sense that you're scaling and diving off of them and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I think that that's what has forced their hand into kind of being like, all right, well, here you can go stealth. You know what I mean? I think the stealth portion of it, yeah, I think you're going to be able to get up on top of stuff, but you're not. I don't think you're going to be scaling like the high, like it's not like that. So
Hmm.
it doesn't really make sense in that setting. I'm sure there will be some things. Obviously, they have to do some stuff you can climb. Yasuke, I don't imagine going to be able to climb at all.
No, it's still in there.
Hmm.
They
You know
just
what I
switched it
mean?
all up this time. Like, now, when you climb on top of the stuff to like get a view of everything, you no longer get a view. I don't think the birds in it anymore, if I remember correctly. It's more a thing like, I think, kind of like how State of Decay probably does it. When you get up top, you have to look around and see those points or wherever to get them. Like, it doesn't just automatically put them on your map anymore when you climb to those highest points in the game. Yeah, they got rid of that. Get rid of that this time around, from what I was reading. Well, what I saw actually. What up,
Yeah.
Alfonso?
Yo, yo.
Alfonso, what it do? Yeah, I mean, look again. I'm real interested in seeing where they go with it. I'm excited about the game, and you know, I think a lot of the rhetoric, a lot of the other stuff will kind of fall, you know, to the wayside and fall behind as people get in their hands. It's just a matter of whether or not it's going to be good
Hmm.
or not. And so I'm looking forward to seeing some actual gameplay.
That and
Facts.
a
Uh,
story trailer to just help, like, just
well, the
let
trailer
me know
was
what.
basically a story
Basically,
trailer.
yeah. I just need to see how the
The
gameplay
trailer
go.
was basically a story trailer.
I gotta rewatch it.
Like they
Show
show
us.
you that like her village gets attacked. Yasuke is involved in the attack on her village. Like they basically, it's a story
Hmm.
trailer.
I need to see that
Um,
gameplay and see how them assassinations work. That's what I need to see.
I want to see the stealth versus not. I want to see him. They show. I mean, again, it's kind of CG or whatever you see in the trailer, like him breaking doors down and stuff like that. Like, nah, dog, let me see it though. Like, let
Yeah,
me see
yeah.
what's really going on. Um, yeah. I mean, I'm here for it. Um, I think that's it. I think we're gonna wrap it up tonight. We got to record something else after we get done with this, and so I think it's time to you know what I mean, put this one to bed. Joke, since you're here,
Hmm.
if you wouldn't mind dropping that Beacons link, that would be cool. Um, Sin, while he's doing that, let's talk
Yeah.
about Thriller Park.
Yeah, Thriller Park back this week. This Thursday at 9:30. Like I said last week, we've started ReZero. We did the first 3 episodes last week, and for those of you who may not know, afterwards, myself and the admins jumped backstage like we are here, and recorded our impressions of those first 3 episodes. So that is up for everybody to watch on YouTube. So please go and check that out. That is a lot of fun that we're doing. And this week, episodes 4 through 6. Pull up. This show is incredible right now. Like, it starts off brilliantly, just kind of like a masterpiece of starting things off, setting the tone of what this show's about, what to expect, and ideas of where we might be headed with it. But it's a good. I don't know if Jokes has seen it yet or whatever, so because he wasn't able to join us last week, but it's a hell of a ride right now, just based off those first 3 episodes. So we're really looking forward to seeing where we're going this week with 4 through 6. So 9:30 Discord, join us. We'll be there.
Jokes.
Yes, sir. This week this is one of those busy weekends for wrestling. We got a pay-per-view and a premium live event. I'll say it in both their respective ways. King and Queen of the Ring for WWE and AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view. We are going to be recording our predictions for it. We won't be doing it until a little bit later on in the week. So by Saturday before King of the Ring happens, you're going to have those predictions that you'll be able to go and see. We're going to have a couple special guests, good friends, Ben and Michael. They haven't done this in so long now. They keep asking, like, when are we going to do this again? When are we going to do this again? So they're going to be joining alongside me and Marcus, possibly this guy. I don't know. But
I might pull up for a prediction show.
he may throw. But yeah, we're going to have a double prediction show. So we're going to have a late night on Friday.
Dig it. Monday, we will be having our discussion for the Phantom Menace. So prepare for that. Make sure you watch it and you're all caught up so that when the time comes, you can jump in and watch that with us next Monday. Next Monday is Memorial Day. So everybody have a very safe and happy weekend.
Yes.
We are looking highly forward to having this discussion and getting through this weekend. It's been a busy month and it's about to get busier. We have StellarCon York coming up June 15th. And then July it just kind of pops off again. BlurCon and all of that. So
and then August.
Yeah.
August.
Yeah.
Bro.
I was trying not to bring it up. So like you know what I mean? You messed that up. I was trying not to bring it up.
My brain just went there like, we got that this month, and then that. We
have some decisions to make about August. But we'll talk about that and we'll get that figured out. Before we close out, I just want to say I want to thank the team at Comic Logic for inviting us out to LotCon over the weekend. Sin and I shot up there, had a good time having snacks and talking to people and hanging out and so forth with all the vendors that were there. Really great turnout. We did not get rained on for once.
No, thank goodness.
It was again, it's always good to kind of hang out with those folks. So shout out to the folks at Comic Logic one time for just, always kind of keeping us close, considering us family and so forth. It was a really good time. So I just want to give them a shout out briefly. And it's time to close out the show. So, Jokes, can you tell the people what I need them to know?
Sure can. So remember, y'all, just because you have a well thought out plan doesn't make it a good idea.
We're out. Tools and loose.
Loading snacks.